I've had such difficulty trying to work out how to pronounce this person's name. Baroness Mone, I think, is the accepted convention, the Mona Lisa. And she's the person with the aberrant PPE. And all this goes back to a proposal by her, by Michelle Mone, who was given a seat in the House of Lords. Over there she is, being presented in the House of Lords, and she was given a seat in 2020 after being nominated by David Cameron, and she approached Michael Gove with an offer to provide PPE during COVID, and Gove then contacted Theodore Agnew, Lord Theodore Agnew, and private emails took place, so they weren't registered, or people couldn't pry into them. Anyway, Mone set up her company and got lots of people involved, but the company wasn't actually incorporated until 4 days after these emails had started, so it was all done on spec. And it's all done through buddies. And she offered to provide 210 million masks, 25 million surgical gowns, and she was given 122 million. And all of the things that she produced were rejected by the Department of Health and never used. Now that's fairly shocking. Now we go to her motto, which comes from an Instagram account, that you decide what makes you happy, and you just go for it. Decide what makes you happy, and you just go for it. The picture here of Baroness Mone on her yacht. The yacht is called the Lady M. It's got I seem to recall there was another yacht called the Lady M, wasn't there? Something to do with Maxwell. And there she is in her swimming costume, looking elegant. And where did all this money go to? Well, Led by Donkeys has done quite an interesting review. The Guardian, the Good Law Project. The net is closing in on her because the next bit of the story. So anybody can make a mess. It seems to be something that Suella Braverman and her cronies in the Home Office do all the time. But making a mess is one thing, and making money out of that mess is something that is slightly different. So people were risking their lives. People were dying for want of surgical PPE. And Mone took up a lot of public money, and it was useless. It was invested in a project that didn't work. And the question is, what happened to all that money? Well, it now turns out that when she married her husband, Douglas Barrowman, a certain amount of financial jiggery-pokery was going on. And Barrowman denies any wrongdoing. He says he never invested in MedPro. And yet a leaked report from HSBC apparently suggests that he did invest. He invested millions. And more than that, he transferred millions of pounds to the Isle of Man, to the Warren Trust, and then also to the Kestrel Trust. The Warren Trust benefited Douglas Barrowman. The Kestrel Trust benefited Mone herself, and her children, to the tune of £25 million. The Warren Trust was benefited to the tune of £65 million. Well, I mean, it doesn't account for the whole of the £122 million, which was invested in stuff that didn't work, but presumably they had to pay off their workers in Hong Kong. for this company, MedPro, which was set up specifically, it seems, to produce this useless PPE. It's like a story, it's like a version, a nasty real-life version of The Producers. You get more money in your pocket by doing something that doesn't work than by doing something that does work. Well, let's think, that 65 million, that 29 million could have been invested in sorting out the small boats problem. It could have been, it could have helped, at least for a few days, to pay off the bill for hotels. Because what is it doing other than buying a luxury yacht for Michelle Mone? And what is she doing in the House of Lords other than posing in swimwear? Well, if she wants to pose in swimwear, there are plenty of television. She could go and join Love Island. Go and do reality TV. That would leave her with a headache. But there are too many questions. I don't know whether I've used enough allegedlys in this, but there are too many questions surrounding Baroness Mone for this to go away quietly. And she, the present Conservative government and all her friends may nod and look the other way. But once a new government gets in, I cannot imagine she will escape some sort of official overview. And then where will the money be? And thanks to Led by Donkeys, thanks to The Guardian, thanks to the Good Law Project, thanks to all the many people who are scrutinizing this stuff. This is one stage worse than the incompetence of Suella Braverman and the incompetence of the various ministers dealing with education or with health or whatever. This seems to look extremely dodgy. And why? Not only is it about money that cannot be accounted for, but it's also about the fact that this was done on the backs of people who were dying and calling out for the PPE that was not provided and that was not made properly. It's really shocking, really shocking.